Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of entitled people. In today's episode, my abusive stepfather. Teacher money shames students during flood. My school administrator searched kids illegally based on rumors. I wish this didn't happen. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My abusive stepfather. It all started on the day of my birth. Just kidding, it started about 7 years after that. When I was 3, my mom and dad divorced, but remained on good terms. I won't say much about my mom, other than that she enabled my stepdad's behavior. The rest is a whole other story. 2 years after my parents divorced and my dad moved to Alabama, he later moved again to Florida. My mom started dating another guy. I'll call him L because he was essentially a talking loss. My mom and Elle had a daughter almost immediately, but she and I get along fine. I don't harbor any hatred towards my half-sister because I know it's not her fault her father is an awful person. My half-sister's existence will be important later. Elle always seemed to hate me. I would try to spend time with him, to bond with him. I tried so hard to make our relationship work, but all I got in return was physical and verbal abuse. I vividly remember a time when I kept forgetting to return a book to my school library, and he threw it at me as hard as he could. It hit me in the crotch, bruising it for a week, and I remember how it hurt to shower that night. Another incident was when he was having me pull weeds out of the back deck. First of all, the stems were sharp, so I asked him for gloves and he didn't give any to me. Secondly, and far more importantly, there were 3 wasp nests on the back deck. 1 hornet nest above the nearest entrance to the house, and 2 in-ground yellow jacket nests. 1 under the hot tub that was out there, and another across from it. I pulled out a weed across from the hot tub, and it just so happened to be that one of the nests was built around its roots. I ran off the back deck and tried to escape, since my mom is allergic and I didn't want to risk getting hospitalized. I was unconscious on the ground for 3 hours getting stung before anyone came to help me. Elle saw me, of course, he just didn't care. It was my mom who eventually saw me when she got back from work, and she called an ambulance. I was left with several pustules and a crippling phobia of bugs. It's so bad that to this day, I'm unwilling to go outdoors unless it's winter. You might be asking why I didn't call CPS on him. Well, for starters, I didn't have a phone. But the more important answer to that question? My half-sister. I didn't want to take her father figure away from her because I knew what it was like to not have a father figure in my life. I didn't want her to go through that too. In the end, after attempting to run away from home or from school multiple times just to get away from him, I ended up moving in with my grandparents on my mom's side of the family. They do more for me as parents than my actual parents ever have. I'm very low contact with mom and no contact with Elle, although my half-sister and I are still on good terms. So I guess I got a happy ending out of this, if you don't think about the depression, crippling anxiety, and the phobia I got. Your mom's the worst part of this. She just did nothing while someone was abusing her child? What a great parent. I mean, enabler parents choose to stay with the abusive parents for a lot of different reasons. Some of them valid, others not. Doesn't make the damage caused by that environment go away or negate the trauma though. I wish every good thing for you. I'm so sorry that the people who are supposed to cherish you let you down so badly. Teacher money shames students during flood. This happened in 2013 when I was in high school. The town I lived in at the time was experiencing harsh rain and dangerous floods. The town's bridge had to be closed down because pillars were collapsing. Roads were closed due to giant holes growing to the point that if you fell in, rescue was risky, and lots of people's homes were affected by the floods. By some miracle, students whose homes had been affected by the floods still managed to get to school. This was during the beginning of the new quarter, so school funds had started. A lot of teachers decided to let the funds for school supplies slide because of the flood situation. Not this one teacher, whom we'll call Mrs. Karen. She was a homeroom teacher and she required $10 for a planner. The other homeroom teachers let it slide for the kids who couldn't afford it because of the floods, but not her. After a week of the floods getting worse, this woman loses it. Mrs. Karen, I know the rain hasn't stopped and the flooding has been keeping everyone on edge, but everyone needs those planners. So if everyone could get their payment to me by the end of the week, I will order them. Seriously, no one in this school is too poor to afford $10. This woman literally shamed students for being too broke to buy a stupid planner because their parents were too busy paying for important things like food, clothes, etc. during a flood. You do realize that the others' teachers ended up paying for those planners out of their own pocket for the class? Maybe this teacher couldn't afford that. Maybe she was dealing with her own house flooding. Every year I get parents who think that they don't need to buy the stationery pack. Where do you think the stationery for those kids comes from? I have to go to the store and buy it myself. Parents who don't supply their children what they need for school are lazy and entitled. If you really are absolutely struggling, then at least approach the school and come to some arrangement with them. I agree with the teacher. My school administrator searched kids illegally based on rumors. I wish this didn't happen. Now, I have posted about my school administrator from a previous school. My sister, RIP, actually was illegally searched based on a rumor spread by a cheerleader. The rumor was spread for a petty reason. My sister, a model, was allowed to dye her hair, or what we called frosting her hair, basically softening the color or texture. The cheerleader, Shafali, begged my sister to help her do this, but it cost over $50 because it was done at a professional salon. Instead of telling the truth, she lied to her mom to get around paying my sister back. She basically refused and also got jealous over the fact my sister was an extra in a TV miniseries. Yeah, you can see what happened. At the time, my sister broke up with her fellow model boyfriend / an actual drug addict. Shafali found out and spread a rumor that my sister did drugs too, something my sister did not do. This got back to Mr. Entitled Administrator, and he decided to search her locker. He actually searched mine and hers because he's special that way, I guess. He also said I couldn't have Sailor Moon school supplies because something about school whatever I didn't get, and apparently neither did half the school for that matter. So I, being the evil teenager that I was, called the one person that Mr. Entitled Administrator was terrified of, my mother. Shafali was also kicked off the cheerleading squad because, oh, I don't know, because she lied and the captain and the coach kind of frowned on it. The captain was mad because my sister was her friend too, and this was just too much drama. Mr. Entitled Administrator had to transfer my sister to a different school which was in the news in 1999. Yes, this was Littleton Co., and we were moved to Texas before it happened, going to a school with an administrator who must have been Entitled Administrator's female version from another planet, I guess. Yes, both sister and I were illegally searched for drugs that we didn't have. And my mother was a dragon spitting fire at that administrator. I don't feel sorry for him to this day. FYI, what the guy did was illegal. The school resource officer refused to participate because I guess he had more common sense, and also called my mother and then my dad. Basically, the entitled administrator had to call the actual police to search both mine and my sister's locker. I didn't find out until my mother told me. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.